Hello everyone, Mac here from JLPTbootcamp.com, and before we start this presentation, just a word of warning. This is the English version, the in-depth English version. There's also two other versions of this video. There's a version with that's all in simple Japanese, and the slides are in kana. And there's another version that's in simple Japanese and all the slides are in kanji. Those two are available. Also, the full transcript of this video is available on my website at JLPTbootcamp.com. With that, let's get started. The JLPT N5 is the easiest of the tests. It corresponds to the old level 4 or Yonkyū test. It is where you will probably want to start when you're first studying. It only requires about 100 hours of classroom work to pass. This is equivalent to a little under a year of college class in Japanese. And for the basic info behind the N5 tests the ability to understand some basic Japanese. The key word is some. You should be able to read and understand typical everyday expressions and sentences written in hiragana, katakana, and kanji. You should also be able to listen and comprehend daily life topics as long as someone is speaking slowly. The main objective of the JLPT N5 is to test your ability to read hiragana, katakana, and a few basic kanji. This is a major hurdle for new learners of Japanese. It may seem a little painful, but the sooner you learn to read and write hiragana and katakana, the better. If you're still using romaji, the romanization of Japanese, you are crippling yourself. Take the time now to lay down a solid foundation of these alphabets. It will pay off in the long run. Note that since the JLPT is not a speaking or writing test, the test will only judge your reading and listening levels. In other words, you can theoretically not speak a word of Japanese, but be able to pass if you can listen and read the language. Now, as for the JLPT N5 grammar, there are no official lists of grammar that will be on the N5 test. You can look over the old lists of grammar for Yonkyū to get an idea of the types of grammar that you will be tested over, though. There are a few lists out there on the net as well as decks in Anki that can help you study this grammar. In general, this level will test basic particle usage, wa, ga, ya, o, for example, in basic formal and casual conjugations of verbs and adjectives for past and non-past, as well as making comparisons and a few other simple grammar points. Now for the kanji for the JLPT N5, again, there's no official list of kanji that will be covered on the N5 test. The old Yonkyū or level 4 test is a good place to start studying for the exam, though. You can pull up a list of these, again, on Anki or on, I use iKanji on the iPhone. You can also pick up the raw list of these kanji on various sites around the web. In general, you need to know the kanji for numbers, time, including days of the week, for family members, for example, mother, father, mother, etc., directions, and also kanji for basic verbs like read, write, buy, etc. Things you would use, again, in daily conversation. So these are all kanji that would naturally come up in simple daily conversations that you would have. As for the vocabulary for N5 JLPT, there are approximately 500 to 700 words that you need to know for N5. These correspond to the most used words in the language. If you're studying a newbie to beginner level textbook, it should cover this vocabulary. You can also find decks in Anki that go over the old level 4 vocabulary, which should serve as a good base. The important thing to keep track of for vocabulary is the vowel sounds. There are big differences in one extra vowel sound at this level. For example, obasan means aunt, but oba-san means grandmother. You can remember this difference by remembering that grandmother is older, so she has been around longer. So we need to use a longer sound. JLPT N5 will test you over these differences, so be on the lookout for long vowels versus short vowels. So, you might be thinking, what is this thing good for anyway? If this test is so easy, why take it? What good will passing this test do? This level is too low for you to get a job using Japanese. It only proves that you are capable of a very simple conversation, about the equivalent of a kindergartner in Japan. And that is just barely enough to get around in the country when you come to visit, so why even bother? Well, it will help you understand your strengths and weaknesses, for one thing. It's important to understand these early on. That way you can focus on them more as you move up and become more fluent in Japanese. For example, knowing now that you're not so hot at grammar will help you study more efficiently in the future by focusing on that weak point and not studying so much on, say, kanji, which you're better at. It can also serve as a mini goal. It's important that you have a long-term goal for studying Japanese, but it will also help you if you have smaller goals along the way. Being able to monitor your progress and being able to have that heck yeah, I did it moment are both important to keeping your motivation high. You can still put it on your resume because, of course, it will make you look like a total badass. I mean, who else on your block has passed the N5? Probably not a lot of people. I'm just saying. Anyway, in summary, some people skip over JLPT N5 on their way up the JLPT ladder. But I would recommend giving it a try, even if you feel it might be too easy for you. At least you'll get the experience of having the test, and you'll have a pretty little certificate to hang on your wall and brag to your friends about.